Hello everyone and welcome to Collection Reflection. For today's episode, we will be taking a look at another figure from the G.I. Joe Classified series. This time we're looking at Stuart Selkirk, aka Outback. And of course we're going to talk lots and lots about the figure, but before we do that, let's take a look at his packaging. Here is a closer look at the front of the box. As you can see, this figure does have a plastic window, as well as some nice artwork on the side. You can see here that he belongs to Tiger Force. Here we can see a larger illustration of the character. The back seems to be the same for all the Tiger Force characters. And here are Outback's stats. You can see there that he is number 39 in the line. Your top, your bottom. Now we have Outback back out, front and center, so that we can take a closer look at all the details on this figure. Now a lot of people don't know this, but this character is actually in his mid-20s. His hair went gray just from the stresses of war. So I have no clue how old this character is supposed to be. But honestly, he does give me a grizzled veteran type of look. And you can see in his hair, he's got a nice black wash to bring out a lot of those details. You can even see some of the details that they put in his eyes. He's got those nice blue eyes that's brought out by his nice blue headband. But he has a very old man Logan, almost old man Captain America feel to him. When I look at him, I see Steve Rogers as an old man. Moving down to his shirt, you can see that awesome printed tiger. With the lights I have on this figure, he appears to be very shiny. So maybe if they could have found some way to dull at least the shirt and more of a matte type of finish, it would have helped with the realism. There's a little paint mishap on his ab, but that might be the only paint mishap I see on this figure. You can also look at the straps and pouches. I was wrong. I see there's another scratch on his back. And to my knowledge, I think this is my only action figure with arm hair. And even that is really well done. You can see the tactical gloves that he's got picked out and the bracelets. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a watch. Going down to the pants, you can see the really nice texturing detail that they have all throughout. It is in a camo style, as you can see some of the darker patches there within the green. And all of these holsters, as well as the strap, is all completely removable, but they don't seem too easy to take off. You're going to probably have to pop off some of his limbs. We can see those knee pads. This one seems a little off-center to me. But it could just be my eyes playing tricks on me. Looking at those nice combat boots. The boots even seem to have some kind of weathering detail on them, like they've been worn and used throughout the jungle. He kind of looks like if Santa got drafted into the Vietnam War and had to lose all the weight. I think he's a really cool looking figure. Again, the head sculpt is awesome. Probably the best part of the figure for me. And oddly enough, I am enjoying the arm hair just because it's so different from the other figures I have. It kind of makes him stand out. I can't tell you how many pieces are reuse because I don't own that many G.I. Joe classified figures. Outback is actually the second one I ever bought. Let's see how well this old man can move. For his articulation, he's going to have 360 in the head. That's got a little bit of tilt in both directions. Doesn't look back far at all. Doesn't really look down either. I think he has a separate joint in his neck, but mine seems to be very stuck, if it is even there. His butterfly joints can move from there to there. His arms can go out to 90 and do a full 360. He has a very tight 360 bicep swivel. Also tight double jointed elbows, but they are pinless. Both hands can swivel. His left hand has a vertical hinge, but it can't move back at all. And his right hand has the high five hinge. He has an extremely tight, ratcheted waist, but it can't go 360. He can bend back that far and forward a little bit. Drop down hips that can allow for that much of a split. He can kick forward and back very well, but his hip joints are very tight and can cause stress marks on the joints if you're not careful. So you might want to heat up his legs before moving them too much. 360 thigh swivel. He has some smooth double jointed knees that are pinless. 360 boot swivel. His ankle can go down to there and back that far, with some great pivot. G.I. Joe Classified usually does very well with the articulation, but they are also known for their accessories. Here's a quick overview of the accessories he comes with. Let's start off by taking a look at the handgun that he comes with. He's got this nice pistol with a laser sight attached to the bottom. And you can see some tape that's been molded onto the grip of the pistol, as well as painted. It just gives it a little extra flair. Here's his survival knife that he comes with. It's just one piece of gray plastic. You can see some of the detail that's been molded into it, as well as the serrated edge on the back. He holds both weapons in both hands very easily. Next up we have what I believe is an entrenching tool, which is basically a shovel that has multiple uses and purposes. You can see one side is smooth, while the other has more of a textured design to it. And there's a giant square hole in the middle to help with storage. Here's his next accessory. At first I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be some kind of a telescope, or possibly even an old man pipe, because there's nothing better than camping in the woods and smoking a little wacky tobacco. But after looking at it for a while, I'm starting to realize I think it's a flashlight. And the idea of it being a flashlight makes sense when you pair it with his E-tool, which is often used to dig a little hole in the ground so that you can use the restroom. And nothing is worse than having to use the restroom at night without a light. They call them Outback for a reason, and that's because outhouse is not that great of a code name. Here is another weapon that he comes with. I believe it's some sort of a submachine gun. I really have no clue though. If you know the name of this weapon, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. But it is one piece of black plastic, and this strap is also the same material that the gun is made out of. However, it is painted brown. And honestly, I don't like the plastic straps. They look nice and they can hold their shape well, so it does add a dynamicness to the weapon. But I can already tell that if you're not careful, it will rip where it's attached to the weapon, because the plastic is going to be so thin. The more you move it over time, trying to get it over his shoulder or whatever, the more likely it is that it's going to just twist and snap off eventually. And another cool feature is that the magazine is removable. And finally, his last accessory is his survival pack. It's one piece of brown plastic. There's no paint on it, but there is a ton of texturing detail. You can see all the straps and pouches. It does bother me that none of these pouches are usable. You can't open anything up on this pack or store anything inside of it. However, you can see these little pegs there off to the side, and that's so that he can store certain weapons, like his machine gun, where you can just peg it right through the trigger, as well as his shovel. And you can even do the same with his pistol. For all the weapons that you don't store on his backpack, he should have a holster on his body, one for his pistol, another for his knife, and a third for his flashlight. And his backpack just pegs into that hole that we talked about earlier. In my opinion, I think you have to place the scope towards him. As you can see here, it won't really fit on him without bumping into him that way, and same for that way. And the strap itself really isn't big enough to fit around him in a natural style, so it is just there for show. But you can actually store all of his accessories on him at the exact same time and still have his hands open for even more accessories. Weapon storage, especially on the figure itself, is one of my weak spots. Thank you, Susan. What do you say we look at some comparisons? Starting things off, we have another G.I. Joe classified figure, Spirit Iron Knife, as well as a Transformers Voyager class Beast Wars Optimus Primal in his monkey mode. Outback and Spirit are roughly the same exact height, and they're both a little bit taller than Optimus Primal's Gorilla mode. Looking at a couple of super soldiers from Marvel Legends, we have Black Widow and the Sentry. Now we're looking at Mech Strike Captain America, as well as Voyager class Studio Series Hot Rod. And unfortunately, since this is my only larger scale Captain America that I own, I won't be able to do any sort of head swaps to see if my theory actually works. From Power Rangers Lightning Collection, we have the Blue Phoenix Ranger and Zeo Gold. Outback seems to be taller than both of the Power Rangers. From Dragon Ball Evolve, we have Lord Beerus and Vegito Blue. This is a 5-inch toy line, so of course they're going to be a little bit shorter than him, but from the tips of the figure, they reach about his shoulders. And for a 4-inch toy line comparison, from Final Faction, we have Steel and a Cyborg Steadfast. Both of these figures have been customized by myself. And our final comparison for this elderly Rambo will be Pumpkin Wrapper's Big Head. I think Outback is a great addition to the G.I. Joe classified line. He's got plenty of accessories, I enjoy all the weapon storage, and his weapons are also blast effect compatible. He has a great look, a nice design, so it's hard for me to try to think of something that we could enhance about this figure. You could always cut off the plastic strap on his gun and replace it with an actual leather one or even an elastic one so that you can stretch it around his shoulders. For the most part, I can't find any flaws in this figure that are worth changing. So let me know if you feel differently, or have you done anything to enhance this figure. I hope in the future, G.I. Joe Classified can actually create functional backpacks rather than just having them as extra accessories. As a reminder, I did purchase this action figure at my local Target for about $25 after tax. So the question is he worth collecting at that price, or should he be reflected? Personally, I'm someone who usually waits for a sale, but if this is a figure that you don't own, and these accessories are unique to you, I think this is a great opportunity to pick him up and to add these accessories to your collection. This figure is worth collecting. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate you joining me today. If you like the content you see, or maybe you want to see some more, follow me on these social medias and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I recently passed 100 subscribers and that is such a big deal for me. I can't thank you all enough. I really appreciate it and I'm excited to see what will happen next. I hope you all have a moment today where you can have a nice chuckle, and please try to be kind to somebody. because it could really change their life. I'll talk to you next time.